I unfortunately hate that this is gonna be like my first talking video because I've always wanted to be a really positive person online and just make really good, feel good content, but I think also it's really important for me to be vulnerable and just talk candidly about things. And doing this on YouTube just gives me a much easier, it gives me more time because people who are going to click on this video are going to see the title and they genuinely want to watch this. They're not scrolling looking for something that's entertaining. And I wanted to talk about how short form content has made me the most insecure person ever. It's made me doubt my dreams. It's made me doubt what I'm doing with my life. It's made me feel even more lost. It's made me lose a sense of direction in my life, and it's made me feel like I'm comparing myself to other people all of the time. And I'm talking about this not because I'm like, oh my god, I went viral a couple of times, like, and now I'm like a failed TikToker, like, please feel bad for me. That's not what it is. I feel like a lot of people resonate with this because a lot of people are creative and they realize that social media is that way to pursue their passions in a way that could be sustainable income for them. And the easiest way to do that is by posting short form content because it is increasingly easy for anyone to get their 5 seconds of fame, and it's absolutely addicting. And it leads you to this comparison cycle because short form content is just a popularity contest where you're trying to fight for someone's attention scrolling on their For You page. So you're trying to put the most emotionally provoking or just shocking thing in the beginning of your video. They call it a hook, and this is like a strategy that so many social media managers, social media strategists will tell people to do. And because you're trying to capture someone's attention so quickly, it very quickly becomes so performative and it's not authentic to who you are as a person at all. And I realized that when I started burning out from making short form content, because I've gone viral for doing story times and it started to feel like my traumatizing experiences were commodified and becoming a product, and I was just sharing the most shocking stories, the most dramatic, painful stories that have happened to me for views because I was making money at one point. And it's crazy because I feel like the people who are watching were just entertained by my story and they really didn't care who I was, and it started to feel extremely exhausting. People had made assumptions about me and who I was as a person, like just based on these very dramatic story times, and even though they were accurate and I was telling the truth, I was cherry picking the stories that I knew would get the most views online, and I knew what I was doing, and even my talent manager at the time knew that I was profiting from this. And she told me that I should keep recreating this until we had a conversation where she released me from any pressure to perform online because it started to just feel so... I started to not even feel like a person anymore when I was posting. And I'm not saying that I'm never going to post on TikTok again or that I'm never going to post anything again. It's just that I need to approach it differently and learn to be vulnerable in a way that isn't seeking views. And I'm just truly putting myself out there in a way that I'm passionate about and I know that people are going to resonate with, but is also true to me, and that's really important. And I think that short form content doesn't allow you to do that because when you think about it, it feels very like Black Mirror and dystopian. You know, like when you're scrolling, you could be on the app for just a couple hours or even less, and you could see thousands of videos in that time because you're just scrolling for something and then stopping when it's entertaining. And it's just so mindless and terrifying, and you can lose track of time so easily on these apps that are designed to be addictive. And even when you're a creator on these apps, even when you're not really consuming content and you're just posting, you are inevitably going to compare yourself to other creators, people that are performing better than you, and it just turns into this popularity contest and this fight for getting to the top of the For You page. And it feels wrong to me and I can't do it anymore. I think the solution to this is I just need to like take a step away because it doesn't make sense for me anymore to do something like that when it's not aligning to what I'm really passionate about. And it doesn't give me the opportunity to really say my piece when I'm trying to talk about something that's important to me, when I'm trying to talk as quickly as possible and I'm cutting it up into a bunch of little snippets because I know that people can't pay attention for more than 5 seconds when they click on my video. I think I also need to talk about my background and why I started posting in the first place. I think that I dealt with a lot of insecurities and lack of validation when I was growing up. And because of that, I kind of went to social media kind of seeking validation and also trying to find community. And although I kind of did, I feel like short form content almost always involves a bit of an element of rage bait. And it's not always, because there's also different types of content, but a lot of things that go viral on the internet, especially when people are talking and especially when people are trying to grow quickly, they want to invoke a really strong emotional response out of people. And I think that when I started posting at first, I became really good at doing that, and I knew exactly what was going to push people's buttons, and I kind of recreated that over and over again. And I just don't feel aligned with that anymore, and I want to contribute in a way that's more meaningful, and I want to talk about things that are important to me. I want to share things that I'm making. I want to share the love that I have for creation. I feel like also with beauty standards specifically, which is something I have struggled with a lot, I kind of turned to social media to have a glow up or show people that I'm pretty now, and it was just such a shallow reason to post. But at the time, especially when I was younger, like 18, 19, that's exactly why I was starting. And it meant so much to me at the time to be considered beautiful by society standards. And now I'm still insecure. Like, sometimes I feel the most insecure that I have ever been in my life. And this is after me receiving tons of validation online, me getting into things like modeling, and I still feel unworthy. And it's because I have never addressed those problems like within myself. You might be able to perform confidence online, and I definitely did that a lot, but it doesn't change that deep down you are still thinking about how other people saw you when you were younger. It doesn't change that you're not confident because you feel lost and you have no direction. And I still feel that way now. I realized that I really just want to share my journey online in a way that is the most accurate and authentic to myself. I keep saying that over and over, but I don't know, like, I just think that short form content really pushes this idea that you can pursue your dreams by doing TikTok. You need to do X, Y, and Z to like blow up and go viral, and it becomes this really addicting cycle. And I think that no one really talks about that. Another thing I noticed is the overconsumption that short form content really promotes. There's this app called Whatnot, and it's become popular, I think, because of TikTok, and it's like this live shopping app. It's like QVC, but in TikTok format, which I think is just incredibly dangerous, and you can spend so much money on there. But I saw creators making loads of money from that app. I've also seen people spend loads of money on that app. And you're just basically profiting from people's addiction. You're profiting off of people's insecurities, and it just feels so wrong to me. And it's difficult to make money as a content creator without kind of falling into that cycle. Especially since with content, the main way to make money is through brand deals. You're telling people to buy things. And when I was doing that, I felt the most depressed and terrible about myself when I was posting brand deals specifically. So I don't think that's something I need to do anymore. I don't think that's something I want to do anymore. But at the same time, I want to do things like model. I want to be the face of a brand that I care about. But I also want to make this a living, and I feel like a lot of people want this so bad, and they don't realize the moral repercussions that come with posting on social media and making this your job. And you have to really compartmentalize that in your head. And I don't think I can do that. And I also don't know the best way to do all of that in a way that is fulfilling to me. And I'm still working on finding that. There's so many things that I'm passionate about that I do want to share, and I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. It makes me sad that people feel like there's only one way to... Oh my god, I don't even know what I'm saying. It makes me sad watching people who want to be content creators also become so addicted to their phones. And I I don't like that at all. I feel like it's really different now versus like the 2016 YouTube era where people were just posting for fun. And I really want to bring that back, and I want to bring back that joy. And I also want to talk about things that are going on in my life. And I think that TikTok is really not the way to do that because everything is so curated on there, and there's such an overwhelming amount of stuff on short form content apps. I don't know what else to say. Oh, and I feel like another problem is that I used to really love making videos. This was like an outlet for me, and it felt like I was just journaling. I felt like I was really getting into a flow state, and I just loved talking to the camera. I loved showing my creations, doing my makeup and things like that, just like sharing my life. And then the second I started making money off of it, the second I started relying on that for validation, money, stability, that instantly just went out the window, and I started hating it so much. I think that it's kind of how maybe you really love doing a sport as a hobby, but the second that it turns into your job, you fucking hate it. And I think that happened to me with content. Even though I never ever really made it my full-time income for more than a couple of months at a time. Even with UGC feels so wrong to me. Is that ridiculous? I know that people like love UGC, they swear by it, but when I was doing it, I was so brain dead because it's so exhausting. It's very inauthentic content that you need to frame as authentic. And I don't think anyone talks about how exhausting it is to do things like UGC and ads for a living, especially when you don't care about what you're promoting. And a lot of people do not care about what they're promoting. Also, the reason why you don't feel pretty because of your phone is because there's shit like looks maxing content out there that is pushed to almost everyone at this point. There's been a whole pretty privilege conversation going around the internet for years. And everyone has seen it because it has millions of views, and you get pushed that kind of content. And I'm like, why do we care about who or who doesn't have pretty privilege? And why does it matter when there's war in the world, when there's corruption in the world, when there's AI taking over art? I mean, that's not the biggest problem. When there's a lack of critical thinking in our world, it's the least interesting conversation that we can have, and that is what blows up on the internet, and that pisses me off. I think that things like pretty privilege, ranking people on a scale, and looks maxing are the least interesting conversations that we could possibly have right now, and yet that is the shit that's going viral. That's what we're focusing on right now. And there's so many people that are so addicted to short form content that if you do not speak their language, you literally would not be able to understand them. And I see this happening to people who are like 18, and it's terrifying. I don't like it, and I don't feel right contributing to it anymore. So I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I don't know how I'm gonna make this fulfilling for me and for other people, but I have decided, fuck TikTok. I'm not prioritizing it. I don't want to prioritize it. Why would I prioritize something that is actively harming us? I would much rather not get any views at all and be myself and share things that are actually going to matter than be viral, make money off of social media, and not feel aligned with what I'm posting anymore. So yeah, that's it. I hope you didn't hate this video, and I hope you understood what I was saying. I feel like I was just rambling for like an hour. But Happy New Year.